Yesterday, I promised that I would dive into the synaptic science and talk about tiny, actionable steps that we can all implement in order to develop better routines, break bad habits, and make permanent progress. These steps are so simple, they can even apply to a cat. Let's jump right in. Research shows that in order to make permanent, lasting change, it's not necessary to have extreme willpower or take massive action. The opposite is actually true. Implementing small, obvious steps that are recognized and rewarded, especially when they are tied to our sense of identity, is the sure, lasting, and easy way to instigate change. When those conditions are present, our brain naturally changes and the momentum builds. Yesterday, I talked about potentially the most significant of these four psychological aids, the sense of identity and how we naturally act in accordance to what it is we believe we are and what we stand for. When we write a note or tell a friend or post it on social media, we are naturally going to be inclined to continue to follow through because it matches our sense of identity. Today, I'm going to talk about the other three of the most significant psychological persuasive techniques. And those other three are, firstly, being aware of what it is we're striving for. Today, I'm representing that awareness with this light bulb. When you are aware of what it is that you're striving for, you will naturally align with your goals and your desires, restricting your movement off course. The second of these persuasive techniques is represented by these baby shoes. When the steps necessary to make progress are small, it's easy to take a step, maybe skip steps. But as long as you are making progress, that progress will accelerate and compound over time. The third of these persuasive techniques is represented by the carrot. And you can also implement the stick. When you use the carrot as an inducement for good behavior, then you will naturally continue and repeat the process. A few years back, I was telling of the ease and the power of these four psychological persuasive techniques. My greatest critic heard me and the claims that I was making. He challenged me. Well, Papa, if these techniques are so easy and so effective, why don't you do something about that damn cat? At the time, we had a 6-year-old tomcat who was convalescing from a feline fracas. You know, a whisker war or midnight mauling. He was restricted to the house and on antibiotics. And it was my son's responsibility to clean the litter box. Now, with this challenge, I was really stymied. Should I make excuses? I didn't know what to do. But after a few days, I came up with a plan. Whenever I heard the cat scratching in the litter box, the light went off, and it was a call to action. I simply followed the cat into the bathroom, closing the door behind us, effectively incarcerating the cat. Also, I gave the cat plenty of treats and attention. The cat simply used the litter box like normal. After a few days, I put the litter box on top of the toilet. The cat would jump up and use the litter box as if nothing had happened. Seemingly, the cat didn't even notice. A few days after that, I bought an aluminum pan from Wally World and conformed it to fit down inside the toilet bowl and filled it with cat litter. Again, every time the cat would scratch in the litter box, it was a call to action. I followed the cat into the bathroom, closing the door behind him, giving him kitty treats and affection. Next, I cut a small hole in the bottom of the litter box. A hole so small the cat may not have even noticed. Every day or two after that, I enlarged the size of the hole until, after about a month, the whole bottom of the litter box was removed. And the cat would stand on the rim, squat over the bowl, and relieve himself like every other member of the family. Unlike my son, by the way, the cat never left the toilet seat up. And truthfully, it was easier to train my cat to use the bathroom than it was to train my son. When you implement these 3 additional psychological aids, change is not only possible, change is inevitable. If you're wondering how to instigate change in your life, it can be simple. You want to be aware of the change you're trying to develop. Reward yourself, possibly add consequences, negative consequences, to the behaviors that you're trying to modify. And make sure the steps that you take are small and easy. To instigate change in your life, reflect on incorporating at least 3 of these 4 pillars. Do something obvious, reward your efforts and your good behaviors, be satisfied with very small steps, and as a bonus, when you can tie that to your identity, change will come easily and it will stay permanently. If you're interested in being more active, put your shoes, your running shoes, your joggers, your walkers by the front door. And the first thing you do in the morning when you get up is simply walk around the block. It's something that's obvious, it's something that's easy, doesn't take a lot of time. And reward yourself. Give yourself some sort of reward for developing that habit. And again, it's especially motivating when you can tie it to your identity. All your friends walk around the block. Walk around the block with your friends. It makes it very simple, and it makes it a permanent action that you will work towards. Say you want to read more frequently. Set a standard for reading a single page every night before you go to bed. Put your book on your pillow so you don't even have to think about it. Read a single page of a genre that you love. And as bonus, if you can join a book club, it helps develop that 4th pillar of the psychological persuasion that guarantees permanent behavior. May we have the courage to begin, the discipline to continue, and the grace to accept our performance when we stumble. Until tomorrow, let us give thanks for our daily bread.